Have you ever worked at a place that you just hated to go to, mostly because of the people there? They resisted change. I have, and I know that many of you also have too. I want to talk to you about that because I believe that there is a way to change the culture of an organization to be effective so it can help strategically help the institution grow and develop. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about change and how it equals success, how to change an ineffective organizational culture. You have people that struggle against each other, but if you work with them and learn how the tools to develop, you can make the change. And talk to you a little bit about understanding organizational culture, how to use strategic approach to change, how to identify the entrepreneur mindset and develop approaches to identify and develop entrepreneur mindsets. Then we're also going to talk about development of organizational resources to be entrepreneurs, and then sustain the effectiveness of organization culture, and we're going to summarize it at the end. First of all, I want to talk to you about what an organizational culture is. An organizational culture is a set of complex ideas, symbols, core values that are shared within organizations. And these ideas, they influence how everybody else within the organization does their business. So if you have people in the organization that is, I would say, bullies, or they didn't like to change, when a new person came in with innovative ideas, they would keep them from being effective. And so when you first hired that person, that you sit down and interviewed them, you would see that they were effective. Then all of a sudden they become part of the corporate world, the organizational culture, and then they became ineffective. Because your effective people, there's two types of cultures. We can change. Ineffective is we like it this way. So what I want to talk to you about is how we can get everybody to believe that we can change. Because if you look at change as a way to be productive and growth and strategic planning and processes, and it'll increase the growth within the organization. It's very important for people to understand that leadership is the key to success of change. And many people believe that, leadership has nothing to do with it. It's all about within the internal organization. But I'm here to tell you that leadership actions are very, very important. They need to determine the vision for the firm. They have to look at the long term, usually the 5 to 10 year mark, and in the future. So looking for the future, that means that they have to have people within the organization that have mindsets like entrepreneurs that desire growth and development. They need to focus on the core ideology and envision the future. This will encourage and promote significant change processes, envision future services as a guide to develop. They want to motivate leadership, provide employees empowerment and organizational design. It's very important that the leadership sits down and plans out strategically how they're going to look in the future for growth. Now there's a strategic approach to change. And that approach is, you need to establish that each organization has their own collection of very unique resources and capabilities. It's important that that leader determines what those resources are. If they are used correctly, they could establish a highly competitive and successful environment. So basically what I said is that if you think that you want to make money, what you're going to need to do is look within your resources, and human capital is a resource. And in many literatures that you can read, it talks about the organizational culture and the way people perform and what they believe in and their vision and values. What they believe in is what's going to be successful for your company. However, you got to make the mission of the company match the mission of the mission of the company blend to the organizational culture. A strategic approach approach will need to be determined to use in all aspects. This includes determining what the approach is, determining a solution, applying to a solution, and evaluating effectiveness. So, as you can probably see, to develop this approach, how does a new leader identify this? Let's say I'm a new leader and I just came into an organization. The last leader got fired because he was no good, and at least they said he was no good. What it was is that he wasn't performing, and you had heard that this was a very tough group of people that he was over, and you thought, well, I'll go in there and I'll just make it work. Well, you get in there and you look at it and you're like, oh man, these are some really, hardcore people. They like to do the things the way that they do it. But what you have to do is you have to have a plan. How are you going to attack the situation? How does a leader identify the desired employees and provide guidance to those that have refused to change? They need to determine effectiveness of employees and train them. So first of all, your first step would be the leader will need to observe employees' practice and behaviors for about 2 weeks and document. It's important that you document, because when you start seeing trends, that'll let you know whether or not this is an effective employee or they're an ineffective employee. Step 2 would be have effective listening skills. This will be required, because when you talk to them on a daily basis, you want to look and see if they kind of meet the same needs that the institution has. You want to make sure that they have the same goals, same values, and you want to see if there's somebody you could work with. Develop approaches to identify and develop entrepreneurial mindsets. So we're talking about that. I would like to have somebody that reports to work on time, that keeps the leadership informed, discusses innovative processes, and provides essential evidence supporting that plan. In other words, they're ready to start in to help you make the company better, to improve the processes. So step 3 would be interview my staff member within 2 weeks using specific questions. There's a variety of questions that you can talk about, but one would be, where do you see this company in 5 years? Since we're talking about futuristic stuff. And if the individual tells you that they don't see any growth, that they see it the way it is, it's kind of what I'm going to say. They basically like it the way it is, status quo. You might want to write that down. However, if the person says to you that they can see themselves climbing in the ladder of leadership, that's key. Because those individuals, you shouldn't get afraid of those individuals. You should empower them, embrace them, and you need to write that down. Step 4 would be to evaluate your findings, determine a plan for growth, and learn how to implement. Employee evaluation is very, very important. And I think that is something that we don't do enough. If you evaluate an employee, you need to make sure that you're fair and you're consistent and that you don't show favoritism. And it's just very important for morale and for growth and development. The effective employees, when you evaluate them, they're going to report to work on time, they're going to discuss innovative ideas, they're going to provide essential evidence supporting the plan. The most important key thing is that they're going to keep the leadership informed of when products are not functioning correctly, when things are not working, when something they see that's not doing right. They're going to tell you. The ineffective employee will never come and talk to you about what's going on unless it absolutely affects them personally. And you will know those people because everything sounds like they're whining, complaining, but they never have a solution to the problem. They never have a solution. So what I'm saying to you is, these ineffective employees, they won't keep you informed of corporate things or business things or things for the whole team. They're only going to come and tell you things that is affecting me. They're not team players. They spend most of the time on themselves and they protest change. Now this protesting of change is organizational culture. Let's say this person here has been in for working for this establishment for 15 years. And I've seen this myself as a manager. This is how we do it. It's what they would tell me. And don't make any waves. Don't make any changes. This is the way we do things. But because I believe in process improvement, it's very hard for me to accept that. And I think that you should look for those types of individuals that have innovation, a desire to change. Another thing I want to talk about is how these ineffective people spend most of their time on themselves. They're always coming in late for work. They're always making appointments during work time. They're always on the computer surfing the web. My child's sick every day. When they first get to work, they spend about 2 hours walking around socializing. And you kind of notice that they don't produce a product too well, whatever their job is. So I would document that. So when you talk about developing entrepreneurial mindset, the culture can encourage or discourage employees. Efforts to pursue innovative ideas is very important. So here's where leadership needs to step up again. They're responsible for the culture and how they seek process improvement. They must teach and encourage. I've worked in an environment where I've had some great ideas, and they were beat down. They would say, "Won't work here," and it would work there, but they would never own it or they discouraged innovative ideas. So that organization pretty much stays the same because they do not believe in true growth. Autonomy, all employees to be self-directed in pursuit of entrepreneurial growth. You want to give them some freedom. You're going to say, hey, do what you need to do with this project, bring it back to me in a set time date, and we'll look at it and see where we're going. Give them some autonomy. Then you talked about innovation. You want to encourage creative processes to correct identified problems. So a person walks into your office and they say, we are having a problem with production in the production line, and it seems like that we're having a backlog. Like, I don't know if you ever saw the movie sitcom with Lucy and Lucille Ball, where Ethel and her were eating the candies because they came in so fast. That's waste. And so here's this person comes to you, they tell you there's a problem. But not only do they come and tell you the problem, they look at solutions. They start creative processes to correct identified problems. But that's an effective employee. An ineffective employee can come and complain about it, but he's not going to tell you, or she's not going to tell you how to fix that. And I would write that down. Risk-taking, encourage to accept risk in pursuit of new growth and opportunities. That's something that people do not want to do, is take risk. Because I could lose my job, somebody might not like me, and if you take a risk and you do something so powerful, if I'm your leader, you may get a job ahead of me. But that's not true leadership. Leadership is where you are working for the organization, and the people that work for you work for the company, and you're helping them grow. So you shouldn't feel intimidated by these employees. You should value their input and help them grow. You want to be proactive. You want to educate related to the future development. So basically what that means is you want to have meetings with them. You want to talk to them about where we are, the way of the future, where we're going, what our concerns are. And basically see if you can pull some things out of them to help start thinking about, bring things to the table of, if it's electronic engagement, or change should not be looked at as being something that's bad, because in our age it's something very good. Competitive assertiveness, the goal is to show how to be the best, seek the best, and reward for ideas. That's the thing right here. Competitiveness, assertiveness is, it's good, but it's bad. Because you want them to be a team to work on projects. But the owner of the project should be the one that gets the reward. Not all the members get all the credit. They get some credit for it. And that's why some people don't like to do things, because when they do a project, it appears that everybody on the organization or on the team that didn't do just a little bit, they all get the same credit. So what you want to make sure is that that person that was innovative and came up with the idea, the proposal, solution, they're the one that should get the most credit. Goal sustainment. It's important that leaders embrace, empower, and employ toward innovation. They must train, encourage, motivate, guide, and reward. You have to be strong in this. Make hard decisions related to singular support of innovative individuals, like I was just telling you. Sometimes it may come across as that's your favorite person, because that person's always creating good products and you're always rewarding them. But you have proof, documented proof, that that individual has risen to the occasion and has been innovative, and they should be rewarded for what they do. So the key is you have to be fair and consistent. You'll see some group resistance, suppression of individuals, change, fairness in reward distribution. And then you have those individuals that just will not participate. I've worked in them, and I know you have too. I believe that change is important, and I know that some change, I always used to say it was the ideal fairy. They come through an idea and really didn't have a process or how we're going to put it through. They didn't even look at it in a strategic plan. They just had an idea, and then they tried to implement it, and it's hard to buy into something like that. But if you have a strategic approach to something, individuals will buy in. Disciplinary actions. They must be consistent, fair, and impartial, mission-focused, mission-first. If you don't discipline within your workplace, you will not have growth. You will have low morale. You will have products that are not being produced in a timely manner. You will not, if this happened, if you didn't discipline your employees, you would absolutely see the morale. A lot of people be turning over, quitting if they could. Without discipline, an organizational culture will not grow, will not be effective. In summary, basically, I talked to you about an entrepreneur mindset, and the reason why I chose that subject, because that's what's going to bring about organizational change, organizational culture. A leader can choose. It's all about the leader and what they determine to do. They can choose the best organizational culture that promotes growth, which would be teaching, training, entrepreneurial ideas, innovative ideas, and providing in discipline. Or a leader can continue to enable the organization culture that has become rigid with no potential for growth to fail. Slippery slope. And many people are not made to be leaders. They're placed in jobs, or they get in jobs because they apply for it, but they don't have the tools. And so for a leader to have tools, they must determine the organizational culture of an environment so that they can see growth within the organization. Thank you for letting me present this how-to to you. I would like to thank you for allowing me to offer you this presentation of how to change in an ineffective organizational culture. I'd like to also remind you that you can reply to me, give me some constructive criticism. This is my first time ever doing this. And also, if you have some positive, I would like to see those. But thank you